It's a perfect South Florida day. Sun's out, guns out, the water's calm. You're heading back from the sandbar, but then you see it, blue lights on the water. Most people think, well, drunk driving on a boat, it's a ticket, it's no big deal. We're all drunk here on the waterways, right? Stop right there. In Florida, a BUI arrest can follow you for years, not just in court, not just in your bank account, but at work, in your family life, and in the way people look at you. I'm Adam Rossen. I'm a Florida criminal defense attorney. And in this video, BUI 103, I'm breaking down the unseen consequences for boating under the influence. By the end, you're going to know 4 things. 1, what Florida has to prove for a BUI conviction. 2, the real penalty range people don't expect, even on a first offense. 3, the hidden ripple effects that can hit your job, your insurance, and even custody. And 4, what to say the moment Marine Patrol starts steering the stop towards a BUI investigation. Because this isn't a conversation, it's evidence being collected. Now here's the trap with BUI. BUI doesn't usually start with you swerving. It starts with contact, a stop, a boarding, maybe a quote-unquote safety check with a few questions. And on the water, normal boating conditions can make you look impaired even when you're not. You're sunburned, tired, you're dehydrated. Your legs are a little shaky because you've been balancing on this deck all day. Your eyes are squinting from the glare. Your speech is dry because you haven't had enough water. You've been hanging with the honeys all day, having a great time. Then an officer starts looking for signs. And once they start looking, everything gets framed as a clue. That's why the stakes are so high. The moment the questions start, you're not clearing things up for the cop. You're building the report against you. Now let's talk about what the law actually says. In Florida, boating under the influence is a crime if the state claims that you are operating a vessel, so a boat, while your normal faculties were impaired by alcohol or drugs, or if they claim a breath or blood alcohol level that was at or above the legal limit at the time you were driving the vessel. Now, if you're convicted, even a first offense can carry real consequences. You can go to jail, fines, probation, community service, required drug and alcohol courses. And in many cases, a court can order the vessel impounded or immobilized. If the state claims your alcohol level is high, basically over 0.15 or above, or if you had a minor aboard, the punishment range can increase. This is an enhanced BUI. And if there's a crash with injuries, well, that's where things can jump into felony territory fast, where we're talking about prison time. So when someone says, oh, it's just a boat, right? Understand this. And in Florida, we treat this like seeing your sister from another mister. We don't see her all the time, but when we do, there's trouble. But the unseen consequences, the ones that hurt people the most, they often happen before you ever even see a judge. So let me give you 3 real-world examples that I've seen happen with people and our clients. So the first one is, well, the I still went to jail problem. Okay, there's people who, they oftentimes complain, well, hey, we were arrested, we spent a night in jail, even after blowing triple zeros, meaning 0.000. Okay. Now, is that the whole story? Well, I don't know, but the lesson is real. The arrest itself can be the punishment, the cuffs, the tow, the jail intake, the mugshot, the missed work, the panicked phone calls, the money to get you out of jail, to hire a lawyer. So even if your case gets reduced later, or, we win, you don't get the night back. You don't get the humiliation back. So those are real life important things that people need to truly understand. The second example is, the tests that feel rigged problem. So, in our experience, these field sobriety exercises, they're complete BS. They're told to do a long list of weird tasks. Okay. You're clapping, you're counting backwards and forwards, hand motions, right? Palm pats, especially for the BUI exercises. These instructions, they take forever to explain. It's an absurd dog and pony show, like they're being set up to fail. Well, why do you feel that way? Because you are being set up to fail. And so here's why this matters. On the road, these are standardized field sobriety exercises. Now, we crush them in court all the time anyway. I still think they're complete BS on the road, but on the water, they're outrageous. They're so ridiculous. Sometimes seated, sometimes standing, right? Again, these palm pats, none of this is standardized, meaning each officer is going to do it completely differently, right? And the whole environment is working against you. Now, I'm not telling you to be disrespectful. I'm telling you to recognize what's happening. These cops, they're building probable cause, and everything you do or don't do will be described in a way that helps the prosecution. It'll be used against you. There are no, oh, well, he did pretty well in this, so I thought he might not be impaired. Right? They don't add those things. They don't write the police reports that way. They're specifically trained to list out and write all of the bad and not write out the good. And so the third example is the career fallout problem. Many of our clients have had issues with their careers, their jobs, especially clients in the military, clients who need to drive for a living. Just, this is something that you don't want people to know your business. Do you drive for a living, right? These can ruin and really affect your career. We represent a lot of teachers, a lot of nurses, a lot of professionals who have careers, not just jobs. They may have licensing boards that they need to report these things and these crimes to, and that's real life. Many employers don't read details. They just read headlines. So-and-so is arrested for BUI. And if you have a professional license, you work in healthcare, aviation, education, government, anything with background checks, compliance rules, right? Even the law, this can snowball. So let's put the hidden fallout into plain English. A BUI can cost you money in obvious ways: bond, towing, impound, obviously lawyers, court costs, but it can also cost you money in quiet ways: higher insurance, lost job opportunities, lost promotions, canceled insurance coverage, and damaged professional reputation. And for some people, this can spill into family court, not because the incident involved a child, but just wait until your ex uses this to paint a picture about your terrible judgment and why you shouldn't see your kids. And that's why I say it again. This is not a conversation. It's evidence being collected against you. So what do you do if Marine Patrol starts pushing toward a BUI investigation? Simple script. You don't need a debate. You don't need a story. You don't need to seem friendly. You need protection. These are the exact phrases I want you to remember. If they start asking you questions about drinking, where were you? How many did you drink? What time? How do you feel? You just simple. Officer, I'm going to remain silent. No, period. That's a complete sentence. And if they keep going, you just say, I want to speak to my attorney. If they ask you to search bags, coolers, compartments, or your person, you say, I don't consent to any searches. And if you're unsure whether you're being detained, you ask, am I being detained or am I free to go? And that's it. Short, calm, respectful. The biggest mistake people make in a BUI stop is trying to talk their way out of it. They say things like, I'm fine. I only had 2. Oh, it's just because I haven't eaten. We started at noon. It's just really hot out. And all of these things can become evidence against you. If you're facing a BUI accusation in Florida, you need to educate yourself before you start making moves. Get real guidance on what the state has to prove, what can be challenged, and what outcomes are realistic. And let me recap these 4 things that I promised you. So 1, what Florida has to prove, right? It's impairment of your normal faculties or a breath or blood alcohol level at or above the legal limit, which is 0.08. Okay. Number 2, the penalty range can include jail, fines, probation, community service, required courses. Okay, so these are a lot of things that they throw at you, and all of these things cost money. 3, there's a hidden fallout that can hit through your insurance, losing your job, professional licensure, your reputation, and sometimes even family court issues. And 4, you need to know what to say, which is, I'm going to remain silent. I want my attorney. I don't consent to any searches. Am I free to go? No, period. The end. And in the next video, I'm going to break down 5 ways to protect yourself during a police stop on the water, what to say, what not to say, what you can refuse, how to avoid turning a routine boarding into a criminal case. Your rights, your constitutional rights, are your only shield. So use them, and we'll see you in the next video.